Good morning or good afternoon, everybody who is joining us live on today's METALCON Online. I am so excited to be joined here by Chad Rowe with Metalforming today, and we will be talking about technology and its impact on our future and metal fabrication throughout the industry. A very exciting and very important topic to be discussing right now. I also want to make mention that coming up in August, we do have our next METALCON online, which will be presented by the Future Leaders Programmers. That is myself and Zanat Ali with the MCA. We're going to be doing a big presentation about how young professionals can maximize their trade show attendance, not only for their companies, but also to network throughout the industry. Don't delay. We do still have hotels available right now. They are selling out fast. So if you have not yet booked your hotels, please make sure that you do so as soon as humanly possible. And we do have the best rates in the area. So make sure you check out our link at metalcon.com/hotels to make sure you get those discounts ASAP. And of course, in case you haven't heard about it, METALCON is coming to Atlanta, Georgia later on this year, October 30th through November 1st. So we're very excited to be coming back down to a city we love so much. We also have 3 keynotes this year, 3 pre-designated keynotes. We have Joe Theismann, former NFL quarterback and MVP, Super Bowl winner. The accolades go on. Then we have Dr. Anirban Basu, who is, again, a leader in the industry as well. And then we have Dr. Melissa Furman bringing up the rear on Friday with a really strong Friday presentation, talking about leadership and its relevance in the industry right now. All amazing keynotes. We look forward to seeing them, and we hope you do as well. As you all know, METALCON pricing is going to be going up this Friday. So register now. I also have a very special code on the screen for you. Mark that down if you haven't already. It's going to give you an extra percentage off or extra dollars off, $30. So make note, it is MC Online. That'll give you an extra $30 off your registration. Register now before those prices go up on Saturday at 12:01 a.m. And without further ado, we do have an auto survey that's going to be populated as soon as the session is over. The only information we need on there is going to be your first, last name. If you're an AIA member, your AIA number, and your email address, so we can get that certificate to you. All other questions are optional, but we do appreciate any input you can share with us going forward. Finally, if you run into any questions, comments, concerns, anything, please share them in the chat box. I'll be monitoring the chat box throughout this presentation. And without further ado, I'm going to hand this over to Chad. Chad, go ahead and take it away.
All right. Well, thank you very much for having myself as well as Metalforming today. Really appreciate the opportunity to speak with everyone and your reach out into the marketplace. We are excited to have METALCON 2024 this year here in Atlanta. Everybody can come and get a little taste of the South. Hopefully people enjoy it. In most cases, people find that the South is the friendly area to come and visit down here in Atlanta, Georgia. So for today, some of the topics that we're gonna cover and that we're gonna discuss is kind of the history of technology and how we can use it to our advantage today. Some people have called this the Industry 4.0 or the fourth industrial revolution. Let's talk just kind of briefly about the impacts that has had on our businesses and whether or not people even realize that they do use at least some facets of that Industry 4.0. A big topic to me is really a huge change in the workforce today and how do people work. Then we'll get into some of the safety and how technology has impacted safety in the workplace, what advantages that offers, customers. All of today's businesses and the way customers are reached and what that customer expectation is. How do we use that technology to ensure that we meet our customers' expectations? And then we'll get into some of those more specific use cases of what those technologies can be used and how that can really help and benefit your particular shop. So again, I'm a little new to Zoom, so hopefully I'm going to click the right buttons here, and we'll begin with technology and its impact on our future. And I'm not, maybe that's good. All right. So without further delay, let's get to the right one. Here we go. So our future begins today. Our future begins today, and we're going to talk a little bit more about what does that particular statement mean. Metal fabrication is a business sector that has greatly benefited with the technology advancements that are available today and from previous generations as well. Some of those advances, computer-aided drawings, barcode scanning, 3D printing, going as far as today, autonomous guided vehicles to help with moving materials and material handling. So there's a lot of technology advances that have really impacted different areas of our business. So getting into quickly, we'll kind of go through a little of the history of the technology in, specifically speaking, in metal fabrication. So before my time, fortunately, machines were programmed using a system called punch card programming. If you are watching this and you have used a punch card programming, congratulations. Then came along kind of a G and M code programming. We'll talk a little bit again about that G and M code programming. I did learn those. And then we have line by line access controls, graphic control systems. The graphic control systems really did have a major impact on the equipment selection that customers were choosing to use in their facilities. Being able to use CAD import, DXFs, DWGs. How does that information get from a engineering standpoint out to that manufacturing shop floor? Today's technology and some of those even further advances is a simplified user interface using the touchscreen and drawing technologies that most of us are all familiar with today. Basic example of that is your touchscreen. Your favorite phone, whether it be an iPhone or an Android operating system, using those same touchscreen and drawing technologies. So there's a little quick brief touch of the history, a little bit about the technology in metal fabrication. Then we can get into the automation of process, automation of production, automation of what's coming next, what can be next. So here is an illustration. If you've been around long enough, you may have operated one of these types of folding machines where we simply had X, Y, and Z coordinates and we punched in values, and you needed to be a skilled tradesman really to understand how to fabricate a specific profile, taking that from a flat sheet of material and turning it into a true finished good. Some of the things that have allowed us to make these advancements, we're going to talk a little bit about the different software programming in different languages. So as I was doing a little research, I was really blown away at all of the different variations and programming languages that have been amassed over the years. And this list is just some examples of the different types of software programming. Really, once again, the Windows-based controls, once they started coming on to being utilized in an industrial environment and put on machines, allowed for a more common standard programming method, that method being called the .NET programming method that uses a series of standardized protocols. What did that do as far as the machinery side? Well, that gave us the ability to use some of the existing technology that already existed inside that Windows-based control. Some of those examples, remote servicing capabilities. That was probably one of the first really big ones that came along in using that Windows-based systems. Being able to make voice and even video calls directly from the equipment to get service help. Now, yes, some of you may say, well, my computer went down. How am I going to call from there? Well, okay, so we still need telephones and other methods, but being able to utilize some of those other internal existing pieces of technology that were related to that .NET programming, some of the other more basic features, but connections of external devices such as USBs, keyboards, mouse. I started with metal forming back in 1999 as a service technician, and I can't tell you how many 3.5-inch floppy disks I had to carry around because half of them would get erased, they'd lose their data, was not a reliable solution. So just that little bit of technology advancement really made for a much more stable platform and use of that machine control. Going beyond that, we had touch functions. Some of you may remember there was a time when this carousel idea of on the touch screen, where everything was rotating on the touch screen as you scroll through. Various animations gave really a lot of power to the programmers and what they're able to do with the machine control. So those are some examples of how software, the advancements in using that technology has helped us. Today's controls are by far and above just the easiest and have very nice user interfaces and graphics. I can get a 2D view. I can get a 3D view. I can see what the machine is doing and how that machine is operating. But more importantly, it's really given the basic user the ability to make complex profiles and shapes that previously they may have stayed away from in their business. So that technology and the ability to use those touchscreens and the drawing capabilities and the power of the software behind it has opened up some doors and other business opportunities that previously business owners may have stayed away from because I didn't have that right skill set in-house. So to me, this is really the big power of the technology that sits in behind and that advancement. We'll talk a little bit about why that's so important coming up here shortly. So here is, for those of you that are following along, here's an incredibly powerful statement. What do manufacturing shops of the future require? Couple of key points here. You need a highly flexible manufacturing system. Nobody knows what that customer demand will be tomorrow. We used to be able to say, well, the market's going to do this and it's going to stay in this path for a number of years. And a business owner could set up a factory, set up a manufacturing solution and be fairly confident that this is a proven model. But today's businesses and the way that a customer interacts with that business requires that we have flexible manufacturing. We need islands of efficiency. We're going to talk more about how those islands of efficiency affect the finished good, and then also what comprises those islands of efficiency. And then automated process-driven functionality, driven by real-time data. This is really the technology, if you choose to take advantage of it. It can really take your business to a different level and provide some improvements, efficiency gains, productivity gains that have not been seen before by using this real-time data and that closing up of that feedback loop. So again, I've stated automated process-driven functionality. Not every piece and not every function needs to be automated. But at some point, we need to use those automated processes to continue to grow and work more efficiently. So before jumping into our next topic, we'll give a brief pause there. If there's been any questions that have come up so far. And I'm not seeing any or hearing any, so I think that we'll just continue going right along. So jump into a little discussion about the Industry 4.0 or the fourth industrial revolution. There's basically four areas that Industry 4.0 has allowed or key areas that have given us the ability to change how we operate and using that technology that's been available. So one of those big areas is the connectivity and computational power. We've removed those physical limitations of how much data could be stored on a server and then how many servers, physical devices that I need on premise. A lot of times they became it was not cost effective to continue adding more and more servers. And the more of those that you add, you need to have certain other requirements. So there's some other hidden inherent costs. So that connectivity and those cloud-based services have really opened up some great opportunities for connectivity and what computations a business or a system can provide. Analytics, Industry 4.0, analytics. That's great if we can collect data, but being able to use that data and how to understand it and apply that captured data. Data without an understanding is nothing more than just data. The next piece that Industry 4.0 talks about is that human to machine interaction. What processes or process can a machine perform to simplify the human task? It's a little bit scary. I remember back living through and celebrating and singing and dancing to the song of 1999 and thinking, oh, wow, 1999, when is that going to come? And then we had the panic of Y2K. That was going to be the end of time and that was going to change everything. And then we have this, machines are going to take over the world. That's not really completely true as experience has come to show. But how can we use the technology that's available today to afford us the efficiency gains, make fewer mistakes, perform the same amount of volume with less labor costs? That's the reality of why I want to use these specific functions. So an example, what does this mean? And here's a great example. I can use barcode scanning. And an example of what can I do with that barcode? Well, I can use it so that a folding machine can understand what profile needs to be formed, and then all of the information that's needed to know about that profile. What material is it? What type of material? What's the thickness? What's the color? What's the quantity of this piece that I need to make? What shape is it? And how does this help me? Well, it removes the possibility for a human error. It's very, very basic. And then that next step is additive manufacturing. Additive manufacturing. What does this really mean? Great example, 3D printing. The uses and the tools and the concepts that are available today can do several different things for us. Allows for rapid development to a finished good. Previously, it might take me months to develop a product, build it, make it, see if it was really going to be a viable product. Today, I can take something from a concept to a prototype to a finished good in a very shortened amount of time. One of those things that where this additive manufacturing can come into play. Again, going back to my service days, every shop I went into had templates and templates and templates hung up on their walls for various scuppers and chimney caps and transitions and various things. Today, most shops, very few of those shops still use those because it's all being drawn in a computer program and then being sent to some sort of cutting method that can understand and take in that CNC or that CAD programming that we had talked about previously. So I don't need to have all of these templates and layouts. So I've really, there's a lot of advantages to what all the different things that Industry 4.0 brings to the table and using that technology in the workforce. So this next area is really one that I think is a huge component to how we use technology in the workplace, both from an office standpoint, inside, how are we interacting with our customers? And then at its basic form, how has that technology helped us advance the products that we can offer? So a couple of pictures that are here on the screen, you can see there's the automotive industry really changed how people work. Is there technology in that? Absolutely. You know, the invention of the conveying line, that working process, all the way up to today's mass package handling in an automated fashion. So technology has advanced the abilities of the workforce. I want to make sure that we understand the abilities of the workforce. We've given that workforce a lot of tools through the CNC technology, computer-aided drawings, or CAD technology. That's allowed for a lot of rapid product development. I personally was really taken away watching this movie about the Hidden Figures and just learning that the amount of manual computations that were done to do things like send a rocket into outer space. The power that we have available to us today in our pocket on our telephone is really just incredible. And then how do we use all of those things? It's really changed how our workforce thinks and what they do. So different than the abilities of the workforce, we've added capabilities of that workforce. I can do the same with that workforce and get increased productivity gains. I can gain efficiency. A task that may have taken me an hour, today can take me 30 minutes. Maybe it takes me 2 minutes. The use of the technology to perform anything from a basic to a complex task. This next area, automation in the workplace. How does a consumer shop? How do they expect to get information from us? Well, all of this automation and using of that technology has changed completely. How do we find a product? How do we order a product? How a product is manufactured? How a product is invoiced? We all don't do this for free. How a product is delivered? What is that customer expectation? And how do I use that technology? All of these things have really taken that consumer reach to a completely different level that we've not experienced. And yes, Amazon is responsible for a lot of it. It's So simple. I can find the product that I'm looking for. I put it in the shopping cart, I order it, and I get updates through every process, every step in the process. Customers expect that. So I'm gonna take a little moment there. Any questions that have come up before we jump into the safety and how technology?
Not quite yet, but we
Not
are
quite
open
yet.
to any
Well, I
questions.
certainly hope that I'm quite certain that I haven't answered everyone's questions, so please jump in, ask questions if you need. All right, so moving into the safety area and how technology has really advanced the safety of the products being used, and what does that mean to the employers, to the business, and more specifically, even to the employees themselves. So some examples here on the screen, a big old flywheel and bowl gear. Those systems could not react and stop quickly. What is quickly? We'll talk about that in just a minute. So how has that technology affected safety? Safety systems today, and through that use of technology, these devices are set so that they can respond within milliseconds versus the old mechanical methods where maybe a system had to complete one full stroke, or this bowl gear had to make one full revolution before it could physically stop. So using technology has allowed us to provide much safer systems, systems that are able to react in milliseconds of time as opposed to minutes of time. Again, making the whole systems in our workplace much safer. Automation. There is no safer system than removing people. So with automation, I get the simple fact that people do not need to be standing in areas of pinch points or hazard zones. So using automation does a lot of things for us. It can make us more productive. It can make us more efficient. I can get more output during the same time period. But it also adds a huge layer of safety. And I think sometimes that's really kind of overlooked when we talk about automation, that the safety aspect does play a big part in the automation. It is important to also consider then in an automated system, if an operator needs to go in to operate the machine, and now he's back into these pinch points or hazard zones, what safety systems are used on equipment to ensure that the employee or the operators are safe while they're in these hazard areas and these zones? Some of the systems, as shown in these pictures, light curtains, laser safety systems that are looking for obstructions. With those systems, the machine action is stopped. Again, removing that motion, taking that energy out of the equation, keeping our operators and our employees safe. So some key points to consider when you're looking at an automated system. How are the employees protected? Can the system be operated in a not fully automated mode? And if the system does allow me to operate it in a semi-automatic mode or with an operator intervention, what are those key safety features that keep the employees protected, as well as still allowing them to be productive? So moving on, today's technology advances have created new customer expectations. we've touched on this briefly. Now we're really going to kind of get into that today's technology advances have allowed for a feedback loop that can be closed and or can be said that it's more complete than ever. The old method of closing that feedback loop was, hey, where is so-and-so's order? Where is it in the process? I don't know. Let me go and find it. Where's the piece of paper? I don't know. It's really hot in the shop. The fan was blowing and it blew it away. Well, all of those things are based on needing to answer those customer questions. Where is my order? Is it going to be on time? When will I receive it? So through technology, that feedback loop can be closed directly through software from machines, and that real-time input can be viewed. And we'll take a look at a couple of different software pieces of how can I answer that question of where is my order? Even when I'm at drive-through lane, I want to know where's my order? Everybody has that same question. So how can we meet these new customer expectations? There's uses of software. There's apps for digital drawing and sending specific profiles, measurements. We're all tied to this construction industry where measurements are the key, and as built differs from what is drawn or what can be drawn in an engineering environment. So there's apps that we can use on our phones, on our iPads, on our laptops for capturing that information. We can automate workflows. We can generate automated responses. We have dedicated response teams. So how do we use the tools that are available today and the technology that exists to meet what our customers' expectations are? An example, here's some examples of the software that's being used. So I can control or get very detailed information based on a process that is in my facility. And everybody's facility has different processes. Or they may have all the same process, but each business wants to track or get updates on different areas and processes. Those all can be modified as well. I have scheduling. When can I come and pick up my order? Hey, I know that I just ordered this, but when is my order going to be ready? And then through that software, what's the best utilization of the materials I need to produce this order? And how long will it take to produce this order? All of these answers can be answered through software. Even as far as in an order, I have 47 pieces. And I can drill down into the software using that machine feedback loop to find that a machine has produced 27 of those 47 pieces. So again, meeting those customers' expectations is easier today than it ever has been, simply through the use of that technology and the available softwares. Use technology to aid in the customer experience. Again, Industry 4.0 aids in that efficiency, productivity, and the bottom line. Industry 4.0 really focuses on closing up that feedback loop. And I think hopefully I've shown that in some aspect of all of our businesses, we all have incorporated and used some portion of Industry 4.0. If you haven't, feel free to contact me, and when we can talk about different ways that you can. What's coming next? That next something in the technology is Industry 5.0. This is a completely different topic, and it really changes the focus to the worker and how is the worker affected into that production process and the effects of the workforce. So again, this is that next piece of technology that's coming very soon. So how do we use technology going specifically now into that metal fabrication? So here's an example of software. Instead of using a handwritten sketch, a notepad, how is an order taken? Here's an example of a completely digital order where I get a picture. I can see exactly what is that shape that I want somebody to manufacture for me. And then I can get all the other pertinent information about it as well. What's the total weight? Well, how much is it going to cost? That's what I really want to know. And then when was it going to deliver? So software is a key point to using technology in metal fabrication. Technology. Some big picture uses. Technology can be used to develop planned communities, transportation methods, generating complete building visual concepts. You can build a complete building and provide a real-time visual concept with technology without having to build a building. The use of software. This is one that I find is really kind of interesting. And then there's one more that I find really interesting as well, that the software can be used to determine all of the different materials needed to complete the building that I drew. So down to the individual screws, how many fasteners. All of this is driven through technology. Here's the next one I find is really interesting with the software. So the technology can be used. If I drew this building, I may even be able to use the software to determine, hey, do I have in-house the capabilities to make this building that I just drew? I can find out very quickly, hey, I may need to add a piece of equipment. I may need to find that I need to sub out some of this work. So again, that technology that exists today is very powerful to a business. So specifically getting into the metal fabrication area. AGV forklifts. What is AGV? Autonomous guided vehicle. So forklifts can drive around without even people on them. Of course, they have to be programmed and they have to learn a path. But those things exist today. Automated coil handling and processing. Fully automated forming. Fully automated handling, post-process. So the technologies exist today so that I'm going to use the example, since we are with METALCON, I need to produce a metal building. There are many facets of producing that metal building that can be done with minimal to no operator interaction. That technology is available right now today. So how do I use it in my business? Do I have to have all of this? Well, yeah, Chad, I want to use this technology, but I'm not ready for it to go that far. Most manufacturers and key components today are prepared for whatever your needs are. I can buy a piece of equipment today and it is already prepped and prepared so that maybe in a year, maybe in 2 years, I can add more automation to my current machine, to my current system through that use of various uniform software programming protocols. These pieces can be added. We can add capabilities beyond what's available today. So I'm going to leave everyone today with an interesting statement. And I want you to really think about that the technology for the future is here today. The technology for your future is here today. Now, here's the statement. Planning today to use technology in the future that may impact your future success. Somebody else has already looked ahead years earlier, and they're using this technology today. So, last closing words. Tomorrow's future is available right now today. I want to say thank you for all of those that have attended. Hopefully this has been a good experience for you and gave you some things to think about when you're looking into technology in the workplace.
It sure has given me some thoughts. I can guarantee you that, Chad.
Good.
I actually have someone who has submitted a Q&A. So I have just heard, how is METALCON beneficial for getting started into setting up the steel trading business? I'm actually going to take this one, and Chad, if you don't mind jumping in as soon as I'm done, I'd love to hear your
Yeah.
thoughts and opinions. So for anyone interested in attending METALCON and trying to get into that steel and trading business, METALCON is a fantastic way to meet potential clients in the form of contractors, in the form of distributors, in that form of individual. We have thousands of those individuals walking our show floor. We also have the designers that allocate or that request those very specific products that are also attending this year. On top of that, we have the individuals that can help you get started. We have people like Chad with Metalforming, where they actually sell the machinery, or they have machinery that you can purchase, and they will have items on display for you to see that can make that potential steel trading business an actuality for you. If you're doing forming, if you're looking just to straight up do steel trading in its raw form, we have tons of education on pricing, tons of education on well, I shouldn't say pricing, but tons of education on how to market yourself and your business effectively and efficiently throughout the industry. Information from the leading economists on what to anticipate in the markets going forward and how you can maximize your availability there. Chad, any thoughts or opinions there?
Yeah, will you read the question one more time? I just want to make sure I didn't
Absolutely.
miss anything in it.
How is METALCON beneficial for someone who is just getting started into setting up within the steel trading business?
Yeah, so absolutely, everything that you said is on point. I think I would summarize it as there's no better place for you to go in one location where you can meet people, you can get an education, you can see how others have done it. You can see products, that maybe you haven't even thought about yet. What opportunities are out there that I didn't think of? I thought, hey, I'm ready to go down this path. But there's really no better place to go than to these trade shows for collecting all of that information all at once. And I've been in the industry for a number of years. If I don't have the answers, I know somebody who does. So if you're the person who asked this question, feel free to come by and find me. You know what my face looks like now. I will be in Metalforming's booth. So I hope that answered that question, but yeah, absolutely. It doesn't get easier. I mean, you're going to find all of your answers in one location.
We're the one-stop shop.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if you do want to see Chad on site at METALCON this year, he will be over for quite a bit of time at the Metalforming booth, which is ironically, if not the largest, one of the two largest exhibitors on our show floor. So you can't miss it. So I think that is the only question that has come through. So with that being said, I'm going to say thank you everyone for joining us today, and a very special thank you to Chad and to Metalforming for being here with us today and doing this fantastic presentation. If anyone has further questions, comments, or concerns following this, please feel free to shoot myself an email. I'll make sure to get anything over to Chad that he can answer. And if you have just general questions about METALCON, like the one we just had, please feel free to email me, and you can reach me at Kaylyn, Kalyn, @metalcon.com. I am so excited and grateful to everyone here today. We look forward to seeing you that first week of August or second week of August 7th for our next MetalCon Live. And again, huge thank you to Metalforming and to Chad for doing this presentation. I'll send you off on your way today. Have a great one, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you all. Good night.